protein gains, everything you need to know about what you're putting in your body. Keely Arthur from 5 Your Side breaks it down. Hey guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this video, make sure you like and subscribe. It's totally free. It doesn't sign you up for anything, but what it does is make sure that the latest from WRAL is in your feeds, and we want that to happen. Now today we're talking about lead and other dangerous chemicals that are in your protein powder. Here's that conversation, and take a listen. Hello, everybody. I'm here. Keely, it's been a minute. Welcome back. Love to have you on the podcast at any point in time. And today we're talking about the protein craze. This protein craze is shaking the world. Everything now has protein, 50 grams, 20 grams, 30 grams additional. What's going on with this craze, and why did you decide to look into this?
So I think that there's just been this big movement because of probably GLP-1s and all these things to lose weight, look your best. I mean, we've always been a culture obsessed with that. But people seem to feel like protein is the key. It's the key almost for everything, it feels lately. I saw someone recently. I've been off of work for a little bit, and I saw them and I said, "Oh, you lost so much weight. You look great." And they said, I've been eating lots of protein. So there's everywhere you look, as you said, there are things pushing protein, it's marketing. And then also the FDA came out with new guidance at the very beginning of this year, essentially doubling the protein or the recommended protein intake for an adult. And the health secretary really pushed eating meat as your protein source versus plant alternatives that are also high in protein.
And for people not aware, we do have a new health administration. So there's new guidances and things like that are coming out that we'll always take a look at and then try to articulate to the population the best that we can.
And it's controversial guidance because a lot of nutritionists, other people that work in that field have said, the old recommendation was fine, unless you're somebody who is working to build and bulk up. You don't need as much protein as what is being currently recommended by the federal government. But, to each their own. You really have to trust your body. But there we are, as a result of all these things, seeing a lot more products on the market.
Absolutely. Every single label I see, even on restaurant menus, are starting to add how many grams of protein as well. And then I'm also like, fiber is kind of left out a little bit here, and fiber is super important as well. So let's talk about specifically why aren't people going the nutrition route? Let's say eating more lentils, eating more beans and things like that, and they're going kind of straight to powders.
Listen, I think it's just a convenience thing. I mean, I'm someone, I drink green juice because it's a lot easier for me on my busy schedule to crack open a bottle of green juice than it is to put together and, saute veggies and do all those things. It's very nice and it's very tasty, but I think it's a convenience thing, and people feel like, a protein shake, protein powder, is a fast and healthy way to get protein as well.
Yes, it is. Super convenient just to get that scoop, add a little water or a little milk, whatever you feel like, shake it, and you're good to go. People are looking for ease and convenience as well. So let's get into specifically, what did you find in your reporting?
So we partnered with Consumer Reports. They're a great resource, and they've done a lot of testing on spices, for example, and we've done some of our own research on baby food. And a lot of times those both come back with high levels of lead. I think cinnamon was really high. The thinking is...
I love cinnamon. Oh,
I know, and cinnamon's good for you, but the thinking is that something during the processing, there's lead leaching into it. I think there's some products, maybe chocolate, that also had lead. So Consumer Reports has been doing these things a lot. I think they did the chocolate one around Valentine's Day one year. So now, because everybody's drinking protein shakes and protein powders, they decided to test those. And they looked down, I have my notes out, Clean Simple Eats, Equate, which is the Walmart brand, Premier Protein, Ritual, and Truvani. And all 5 came back with low levels of lead. Now, this is in contrast with a previous investigation because they found levels of lead that were concerning. It was like 2/3 contained more lead than what somebody should be consuming an entire day. So then they went back. I think a lot of people freaked out about that. And then they went and studied brands that were really popular. So like, even if it wasn't included in the previous one. And luckily, with the brands that I just listed, they found low levels of lead. So there needs to be an awareness. Like, even if it's a low level, if you're consuming it every day, you're still ingesting that. So trying to broaden your protein, too much of one thing, even if it's something that seems good, can still be detrimental.
So let's talk about some red flags that people should be looking for in terms of, hey, getting a protein container of protein. What are some red flags people should carry away from this conversation?
I think that, again, looking at the brands that we just named, those in CR's tests, looking at the specific types that they looked at, I believe Orgain in the earlier tests did have high levels, which I know is a very popular one. So I think looking at the brand specifically, what's their track record in these types of investigations is a great thing to do. And then it's not a red flag, but just not thinking, okay, if I have all these shakes a day and then I'm going to hit my number of grams that I'm trying to have for protein. Really trying to, like today I had some sausage and egg and cheese for breakfast. That's a lot of protein. Now, is sausage super healthy? No, but again, it's meat protein, and it's a way to get an intake. And I use like the just crack an egg thing. It's like, it's really convenient. It's maybe not the fanciest breakfast in the world, but it's super fast. It's probably faster and less cleanup, frankly, than a protein shake. So and it's cheap. So just being cautious. I think a lot of these investigations are, not to freak people out, but more about awareness. When you are buying something that says protein powder, you're not thinking, oh, this may have a harmful chemical in it. You see protein, you assume what's in it is protein and the other vitamins. So be aware, look at the brands specifically. What have they done in the past? Are there any issues with that particular brand? And then, I'm not a nutritionist, but variety is the key, I think, with any healthy diet.
Definitely. So check on consumerreports.com to try to find your protein powder and see what type of testing and levels is in that, correct?
Yes. And we have our reporting and things up on WRAL.com/5 on your side. So you'll see. But I know there's people, like, I think of, for me, it would be skincare. There's like, I know that world really well. And so be your own advocate. You're putting this into your body, do research on it. And they're expensive. So you don't want to spend money. It's like if you would be vetting a car or something like that. Look into what you're bringing into your home and make sure it's okay.
I love it. I love this mindset. We're going to close out. What is the FDA's role into this? Because aren't they supposed to be looking into these levels and regulating it?
Jaylin, as I've gone through my career, I think when you're growing up, you think that like everything that needs to be regulated is, and what's on the shelves and being sold to ingest is completely healthy and has been rigorously inspected. But like in the case for lead, the FDA, they say you're not supposed to have harmful chemicals in these products, but they do not put quotas on how much is too much lead to have in protein powder. So I don't think this is happening, but I mean, you saw in the original investigation, 2/3 had higher lead levels than what should be consumed in one day or an entire day. FDA is not as protective and as much of a barrier when it comes to protein powder specifically as one would think. So it really falls back onto the consumer.
Absolutely. You got to do your own research because, again, it's like the FDA, hey, we made this statement, but it's like grading a paper with no rubric.
Right. I've done a lot of stories with like EPA regulation or anything like that. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to have high chemicals, but then there's not specific boundaries. And so if there would never necessarily be a violation because there's nothing in place to violate. So in terms of level of lead or whatever. So you've got to be really careful. We talked about this off camera a little bit, but taking in too much lead, I just want to list off what it can lead to. I mean, it's a lower IQ, behavioral issues, hearing loss, slowed growth, learning disabilities. It's especially concerning to have high levels of lead are ingested in kids. So if like I would think I'm not a mother, but as somebody who's like, oh, I want my child to have healthy muscles and grow, I'm going to give them this protein shake that's geared to kids, or even let them have some sips of my protein shake. Be really careful because that's the age group that can really be affected by this. Adults are susceptible too, but we're bigger. We're developed. We're developed. So.
Absolutely. Well, Keely, thank you so much for your time. Plugging your socials real quick. Where can people find you? Where can people find your reporting?
They can find my reporting on WRAL.com and on Instagram and Facebook. I'm very active on, probably Instagram is my most active platform. So if a viewer wants to message me, that's always a good place. And I think it's just like at Keely Arthur.